Surprises would be Miami, Jacksonville, Denver, and Washington, according to us, I guess. I would say Jacksonville last on that on Denver. I would say top 5 teams: Chicago, Chargers, Washington, Miami, and New England. I don't know if Washington would trade for him as much as they would sign him if that's a release, Hunter. If he's
I
released,
could see a sign and like if a release, we sign him because we did let Case Keenum walk out the door off of his 1-year deal. He's now a backup in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So we really are thin in backups. For some reason, they keep throwing around Alex Smith as trying to make a comeback, and I would look at him and say, "Sir, I suggest you just reconsider that heavily." But if it comes down to it, for depth wise, okay, fine. But I'm not bringing him in to diminish whatever work we've put in to help develop Dwayne. You couldn't do it. You couldn't stunt his growth back-to-back years and basically waste that 15th pick from the year before. I couldn't do it.
We talk about this all the time. Is that the more draft picks you waste, the longer it's going to take to be a good team. And if you're picking quarterback in the first round and they're not giving him time to develop, whether it's win or lose, to me, if you pick a quarterback in the first round, you have to give him 3 years at least, just to see. You can't this at 1 or 2.
And look, I'll admit this: if Dwayne is not the guy after this year, well, guess what position we'll be in for next year? Trevor or Justin Fields or another quarter. Like if there's your 2-year gap, we're getting close to, like you said, the 3 years. Well, if you can see plain as day he's not the guy this coming year, then make the move. But to me, like I can't judge him just based off what I saw last year. Because when he would come into the games, like after not starting, they're basically throwing him to the wolves. But the games that he did start, the last like 3 games of the season, he was one of the highest rated rookie quarterbacks in the league.
Usually when they draft a quarterback that high, you kind of sit on him for at least a couple years, even if he doesn't do well. But with what happened in Arizona last year,
that's changed everything.
It has. I mean,
what they did changed everything.
The guy they picked the year, Rosen, was what, seventh pick?
Isn't he available now? Did he go somewhere else?
Yeah, he's got shipped out of there. He was a 7th or 8th pick, and then he's out, and then Kyler Murray's in, and they seem to have made the right choice for right now, and they picked up D-Hop, and so Haskett, it's not out.
Kyler Murray should not have won that Offensive Rookie of the Year award last year.
Hunter, I see if you can, or either one of you can give thoughts into this. Every single year, and I talk when we start talking draft picks, and almost if you have a quarterback, it's better to be 5th through 10th in the draft than it is first 5, because all these teams will trade up for a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then they'll waste picks. And you're sitting, I just remember the Cowboys and Browns the last few years sitting anywhere from 6 to 10 or 13, kept getting really good defensive players because everyone else was trading up picking quarterbacks. Yep. And year after year after year, if 5 quarterbacks are picked in the first round, I would bet 2 of them are going to be failures. And that's just, I'm just trying to be wide with it, is that, a lot of these guys just don't make it. And for us to sit here year after year and teams just continue to trade up so high and waste so much capital on that, Hunter, if Rivera's going to be successful, I think you guys have to give Haskins this year, or if he likes Cam or whoever, Brissett or someone like that to come in, but you got to give these guys some time. And
it would make perfect sense technically.
Would you ever want to pick the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in the first round? Like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not getting first,
if it was the 83 draft,
right? Ben Roethlisberger,
or the 03 draft,
Roethlisberger. And I think Wilson might have been picked 3rd or 4th or something like that.
Well, yeah, Wilson was a 3rd round pick, and Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick.
So
and.
Does that throw you into if you get the first pick, do you automatically start saying, if you were a GM, either one of y'all, hey, I'm trading that, I'm gonna take.
It depends on what someone would offer.
Everybody will give me. The number 1 pick's available.
Right.
The bidding war's on, and I would just load up on draft picks because look at. Do you remember the Saints draft with Mike Ditka?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much did they just rake in with draft picks or giveaway? Excuse me, I'm
Zach,
sorry.
In the NBA, they're talking if the Warriors get the top pick, what if they tie the Warriors give the top pick and Wiggins to Milwaukee for Giannis? That's what they're talking.
Would Milwaukee take it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're Milwaukee and Giannis says he's going to leave after this year, then you're going to take Wiggins in the number 1 overall pick, and that's what these NFL teams
Wiggins
are
is not
looking.
a bad player,
right? He's averaging 25.
Right. He's just He's
was.
just one of those players that just goes under the radar. He's quiet 25. It's according to who the number 1 is.
But that's what I mean by in what you're talking about is trading back and getting value and getting more for your pick. The reason to stay at 1.
Patriots do it every year.
Right. The reason to stay at 1, if there's a player, a generational type player, where you say, I got to have Adrian Peterson, or I've got to have Julius Peppers, or I've got that type of player, and I guess you got to choose whether Chase Young's that type of guy for Washington, or if you want to trade back and get some extra picks. I don't like trading up for defenders.
I don't like trading up for either.
The only thing that I would want to trade up for would be one of the top 2 quarterbacks in a draft. Other than that, trading up to me just seems like you can always wait and get the same value or more value waiting as opposed to giving away picks.
You remember, and I'll bring this one up, how you talking about that transitional or transcendent player. You remember Vic came out, and then they Look what the Chargers got. I mean, they got Tomlinson, which is probably a top.
And Drew Brees.
You're right, and Drew Brees in the second round. So, I mean, nobody knew Drew Brees was going to be Drew Brees, but still, look what they got for giving up Michael Vick.
He had not one championship out of all of it.
No
Vic, no Tomlinson, no Drew Brees ended up doing it in New Orleans.
Yeah, and you know what?
And we'll see if Phillip gets ready to do it in Indianapolis.
They should have won. They should have won at least one. He got hurt, and then the year they had Marty Schottenheimer, that they went 14-2, something like that. They should have won that year.
Going back to the quarterback talk, I could, in all seriousness, as a fan, I don't want it to happen, but I could see Cam Newton, if he's released, ending up in Washington because Scott Turner's there as well, who just worked with him and his father in Carolina. So, you were talking about how players always want to go with coaches because they know their systems and they know their culture. I mean, I could see that happen, and I don't put it past Dan Snyder spending money out there on something stupid.
I'm changing my number 1. Chicago's not trading for him, and the Redskins are going to pick him up. Watch, it's coming.
Yeah, that's what you
heard it first.
Dude, I promise you this. I will burn my Redskins jersey if that happens.
It is coming.
Which one?
I only have one.
Is Adrian Peterson?
Is that the only one you got? Is Adrian?
It's the only one I got.
He's still I've got
like T-shirts, but
he's still on the team, and you're gonna burn Adrian Peterson's jersey, who has nothing to do.
Well, the last time that they won was when Dexter Manley was there. So
I tell you what, Hunter, if this was 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you told me you'd have Cam and Peterson in the same backfield,
I would have been all over it.
That's what we're telling you now. You might have that's hard to stop at the goal line.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
Why is Peterson not any better at the goal line than he has been?
The question is
isn't that weird?
I think it's because he runs upright.
I said, why Peterson hasn't been as good at the goal line?
He's always had fumble problems,
right? And he runs so hard. You would think that he would just pound it in there. You see how defenders avoid DBs avoid Cam just hitting him hard. They just dive at his legs. So I just
for Cam though, that's the big question mark everybody still has on him. Is he going to be the 2015 Cam, or is he going to be the Cam that's come years after that? That literally is the gamble that you just have to take.
That's 5 years ago.
You might get something in between.
That's
exactly
5 years ago.
And he's coming off of a foot injury for a man his size. He had surgery on it.
A 6'6" running quarterback basically broke his foot, and before that he wasn't accurate, and then he had shoulder surgery on an inaccurate arm, and has barely thrown the ball up until now in the last 2 years. So I think the Panthers are making it the right move, no matter what they do with it.
I didn't think
y'all were going to end up paying. Honestly, I did not see. I for one thought what you guys were going to do, and what I still think would be the smart thing to do. I thought you guys were tanking, and Bridgewater isn't going to make you make the playoffs, but he's going to keep you from winning just 2 games or just 1 game. You're going to win 5 or 6 probably with him maybe. Right. But I just thought y'all would save the $20 million, spend that on young defender or young someone, a lineman, something like that, and then keep rebuilding the draft. You still might do it. They've
Well,
they've obviously have
this
some type of plan.
this is basically screaming to me right there at 7. The best defender that's there is getting ready to get taken by Carolina. I feel like it's going to be Isaiah Simmons.
Have you seen the pictures of
or even the DB?
No, guys? Have you seen the pictures of Marty Herney looking at Derek Brown at the draft?
Derek Brown is a run stopper. That is a huge defensive tackle. I haven't seen any pictures of him looking at him, but is he interested? That before Isaiah Simmons showed the freak athlete that he was at the combine, there were a lot of mock drafts that said Derek Brown was going to go to the Panthers.
Of course,
Who does he play for?
He's out of Auburn.
Yeah, he's a defensive lineman out of Auburn.
They're always good.
He is a big defensive tackle.
They pay their defenders well in Auburn. Can't how much did Cam get to go down there? What did he say? His daddy said he turned down $200,000 from somebody. Who was it?
Oh. Well, all I know is he threw computers out of the window at Florida, so he had to get the hell out of there.
I am while you're looking it up, I'm just laughing. I forgot who the offensive coordinator was for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I just looked on here, and that is funny. It's Byron Leftwich. He's going to be Brady's offensive coordinator. That's awesome. They probably come out. He probably come out after Brady.
Hey, but Bruce Arians is going to be his head coach, and Bruce Arians has worked with Carson Palmer and Peyton Manning, so this is a match made in heaven.
It is, and his weapons. And I know Andre's going to talk about this, but the weapons that they have down there, Mike Evans. Do they still have Deshaun Jackson?
No, Deshaun Jackson's back in Philadelphia.
I'm telling you.
But they do have Mike Godwin. Michael Godwin. He is really good.
They could be. If they can get a running back, who was y'all talking about? Gurley?
Right.
I don't know how much money I don't know how much cap money they got.
I've seen a lot of Washington fans though at the same time. We're trying to unload Trent Williams. If they have a glaring need in Tampa Bay to protect Tom Brady, come on now, we're listening, but we want that second round pick because we don't have one at all. Like we don't have a second round pick at all.
Does Tampa Bay even have a first round pick this year?
Does Tampa? I don't know. I would believe so.
Let's do draft order.
Hunter, I'm of course having a computer problem here.
No, it happens.
Well, I'm trying to search on Google, and then when I do, it's sending me to some. I'm even typing in the Google search bar.
Oh, it's sending you to that search encrypt.
Right.
Yeah, no. What you have to do is search in the URL tab at the top, and then choose from there. Seriously, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It happens to me on that computer all the time.
Just type in the URL.
Yeah, up in the URL, what you would search, and it's basically going to take you to the Google search.
I see that. What the hell?
I know, it's so weird. That's Chromebook.
It's not letting me pull up the images on it though. So when I hit images, it's sending me back
and it's
over
going
to it, and then it says retry on Google, and I do, and it won't do it.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. That Chromebook is funny, but on your other computer, it'll work definitely.
Right. There's something going on. With that,
I think there's some way to turn off that search encrypt. There has to be.
See, what even when I'm sitting there looking at it, I brought up a different web engine, and right in the search bar, Hunter, it says your privacy will be protected by redirecting you to your search encrypt.
Yeah.
It says learn more. So I'm gonna have to type in how to turn that off.
Bucks are picking 15.
All right, they are in the 15th. I've got the mock draft actually here. I was going to show people on my computer. I guess I still can. Huh? Let's pull that up for everybody.
I got breaking news for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are trading Nick Foles to the Chicago Bears for a compensatory fourth-round pick.
Did I not just tell you that the Bears were out?
Redskins.
I told you the Bears were out. I knew it. I just had a feeling.
Zach caught it on there, Hunter.
Jacksonville now hands its starting quarterback job to Gardner Minshew.
And
Minshew mania, baby.
Washington Redskins will be signing Cam Newton. It's coming.
No.
No. It is
the
coming.
Chargers. I'm telling you, the Chargers.
It's a 3-team race. But does Belichick want him? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a big question. And here's another name that nobody's speaking of. We're talking about his replacement. Jameis is still out there.
Yeah, I
He
thought
did
about
just
that
throw
earlier.
for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, 30 picks as well. But yeah, the other stuff, if you can look over the 30 picks, he got his eyes fixed. Like,
Who's going to look at Jameis, Hunter? Jacksonville, Miami,
now one of those Florida teams,
Chargers.
maybe.
Jacksonville, Miami, Chargers. I don't think Denver. What about
No, I don't think Denver.
What about Washington? It just depends
You
on.
guys are in the quarterback
It
market.
just depends what Rivera thought about him during his tenure there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. I mean,
He's going to watch.
I'm against them bringing in any quarterback that might want to come in and be a starter, because then it's just, like I said, it's going to be a waste of the 15th pick that we used the year before.
They did say
That's just how I look at
They
it.
did say too that Ron Rivera loved Tua also. And
Yeah, I mean, he can love Tua all he wants, but the question is do you really want Chase Young dropping to 4 to the Giants and have him chase whatever quarterback you draft around for 2 games a year? To me, it's no. And for him being a defensive mind that he is, why would you not bolster your defense to being probably the most tenacious one in the NFC East? Like, easily, if we draft Chase Young and he turns out to be everything that he is supposed to be, we have the best defense, the best front seven in the NFC East, if not in the whole NFC.
Well, and
Easily.
you know, everybody's talking about the Miami thing. They're picking 5th. I think Kevin was looking up draft order. They're picking 5th. If
Yeah.
Burrow goes number 1, Chase Young goes
Right.
number 2, Tua's not going to the Lions, Tua's not going to the Giants, he's going to Miami.
Well, the thing that's being thrown around as well is, does Miami fear that maybe Detroit moves off of Stafford and drafts him? And do they offer Detroit a flip-flop and try and move up and take him at 3? There's going to be some draft day moves, obviously, for whoever
Yeah,
in stone. We know it's Burrow.
Repeat what you just said,
Yeah.
Hunter. We lost you for about half a second there.
Oh, you lost me. I was just saying, yeah, you kind of stuttered on this side too. I was just saying how, if Miami thinks Detroit's going to take him because Detroit's done with Stafford, they might move up and take him at 3. So there's going to be a draft day move. Somebody's going to take a shot on Tua. It's just going to be who.
And then, the second
To
thing to throw
me,
in on it is the
I
Chargers
don't
are
think it
picking
should be
7th.
us. Yeah,
6th.
the
I'm sorry,
Chargers are
6th.
picking
I'm
7th.
sorry, 6th. I'm sorry,
Yeah, 6.
6th.
So Chargers with Herbert and Winston.
I think it's Cam, personally. I think it's Cam.
I think it's Cam. I think Cam is in L.A. or Washington.
It just fits.
All right, so Belichick. Before Andre gets in here, what is I think the key to this? Belichick's got to make a move quick, right? Because if he doesn't make a move now,
I
is
mean,
Belichick going to tank
I
for
don't think he's
Trevor
gonna tank.
Lawrence, or is he gonna? He doesn't. Is he going to play the backup that he had this
What about
year?
Andy Dalton?
Stidham.
See, so that's the thing. We've got. I'm trying to write down all the available quarterbacks. We got Flacco, Brissett, Cam, Andy Dalton.
Some of those still have to be traded for as well, like Dalton.
Jameis.
The Patriots are going to get a ton of compensatory draft picks because they usually give those out depending on how much talent that you lose big name players and certain contracts.
Right.
They just lost a handful of key players on their team. So they are going to have picks to just give away if they want to really trade for Andy Dalton out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry. Hunter, you there? Froze up.
Yeah, we lost Hunter. So basically, he's saying that, and same as I do, is Belichick always stockpiles picks. They probably got a bunch of picks this year, and what are they going to have to give if they wanted one of those quarterbacks that's available, whether it's Andy Dalton, whether it's Jameis Winston, or anything? If Tampa Bay's got Brady, then they're going to be moving off of Jameis. There's no way they're keeping both. I just don't see
Right.
it.
I clicked on that.
So whichever place he's going to go, be the interesting. It's going to be a domino effect. Who goes where is going to affect the next person in line. And then I think Cam and Jameis are neck and neck on landing spots.
You can't hear that ringing, can you? I'm calling Hunter up there. I can hear it ringing. We'll see if he calls me back. We'll go to our other cams for just a minute. Andre might be joining us just a second. He just said, hold on a second. I'll turn on me for a second. How about this, Zach? Let's go to this one. Where's my internet? No cams. All right, here's a picture of Derek Brown with Marty Herney. Now, does this look like to you someone who is infatuated with the player, Zach?
Yes, it does. And I'm not a big Marty Herney fan, so I wish we would have started over with him too. Got a new GM, but the guy don't look really big. That defensive guy does not look that big. I would like to get Jeff Okudah. We just lost Bradbury and put Okudah in the back there, but that's where they're saying he might go at number 7 to the Panthers. What's that guy's name there that we're looking at? Derek Brown. He's projected to go 9th to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But they say he is super powerful. 6'5", 326. That's a big guy. So Marty Herney's must be pretty tall because he's not much shorter than him.
Sorry,
picture.
Folks watching online. Dad's telling me to pull something up on the internet, which we will in just a few moments. Trying to get Hunter back hooked up to us.
And I'm not opposed to taking an offensive lineman. I'll say it over and over again. If you can get a good left tackle,
yeah.
Look at who was the guy that retired from the Browns? Joe
Thomas.
Joe Thomas.
Yes, sir.
He was every losing season they had. He was there. He was a stalwart. I wouldn't mind going ahead and getting one of those right now, and then whenever we get built up, have the left tackle in place.
Well, of course, my internet is acting stupid on that computer. We did disconnect from Hunter a minute ago. We'll get back to him in just a few minutes, folks watching there. The way that, the way he's looking at him, I like Simmons, especially after you lost Kuechly. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't.
I'm trying to see where he's getting drafted.
Look at him. I'd rather have the linebacker that can cover everybody than the defensive tackle that maybe or might can't.
He's
you know what I mean?
He's getting projected to go out at 3, but you
Shoot,
don't ever.
you
don't ever know.
Right.
What are these people? It's according to what they want. And then you got the Giants sitting there at 4. They're saying offensive lineman. You want to protect Daniel Jones that they just got, so that's coming off the board, and you'll probably have. Depending on where these quarterbacks go, at 5 and 6, you could have quarterback go off, and they're saying Tua, Justin Herbert, and then we'll be sitting there with our pick for defense or offensive lineman, anybody we want.
Yeah, or trade.
Yeah, trade out. It's according to who's sitting there. If there is, let's just say this. If Isaiah Simmons
wasn't Kuechly picked around the 7th pick or something like that?
I want to say 13.
Was it that low?
If Isaiah Simmons is sitting there at 7 and somebody wants him really bad, what are they willing to give up for him? You might have John Gruden, like he did last year, giving up picks to get the guy that might have went out of the first round.
Who was he having?
The guy he picked up from Clemson with his top pick. Surprised everybody.
That's the thing about a good defender. You need them, but like the value of these first round picks that you have to put that you could get. It's not that, say Chase Young is worth 4 players, but you could trade back and get 4 draft picks, and it basically is worth 4 players. If someone wants someone that bad, that's what's kind of weird about these trades and the values of them and who gets for what.
It's like. If you try to trade straight up this year's first round for next year's first round
is more is it more valuable or less valuable?
It's half the value.
Is it
this year? It's crazy
because it's this year,
right? I guess it's because you know where you're picking at, but still, swap picks this year and get a first next.